principles being in place allows you to really do whatever you want. So that, I think, is a good transition into our second agent. So I want to introduce Sage. So Sage is our data analyst. We had an opportunity, I think, once Chris proved me wrong on my Control F accusation. I started thinking about other areas in our company where there was some rot. And so when I think at the end of 2024, Marta Vucci, who'll be up here later, our director of product, and I, we sat down with Lauren. We use Harvest for time tracking internally. What I looked at inside of our organization is where does our team spend their time according to their billing. This is probably not going to shock you if you've worked with an agency. It's just deck prep. Deck prep and reporting is a disgusting amount of our time. I mean, I was actually disgusted. I was like, we cannot be spending this much time. Which is when one of our employees, I think Jesse coined the phrase, we're deck jockeys. And I was like, we are deck jockeys. I was like, all we do is just make decks. We are just constantly putting reporting together. And I was like, this is the next thing that we have to solve. And so I was absolutely determined to be able to go and position ourselves as an agency that when you hire us, and we sell the same way a lot of agencies sell. We bring our senior people to the sales call and say, meet so-and-so, we let them impress you, you're gonna be able to spend all this time with this person, you guys fall in love with it. I wanna be able to back that promise up by ensuring that our best, most talented people, a lot of whom are in the room today, had the time outside of building decks and doing reporting to accomplish the business goals that you've hired us to do. That is extremely critical. So Sage was born from that frustration and that horrifying meeting. And what we've done is what you can see up here on the right, and is a little pixelated, but I can kind of walk you through it. This is, when we talk about proprietary, this is our proprietary dashboard. This is the user experience that our clients and our team internally will begin to work with in Sage. So this is, all of you, if you are one of our clients, you've seen our reporting. It's good, it's fine, but it's slides in a deck, and most likely none of you have any idea where those things are. This is a living, breathing, always around dashboard that comes with, up in the left, you probably can't read them, but there's tabs like live analysis, there is audience management, there is just basically all these types of key insights that are here. It's designed to be very simple. One of the things that I'm most excited about is it is designed to be what we would call dynamic. Dynamic in this sense means that a seasoned marketing veteran, somebody who is probably at the mid-tier of an organization that may have hired from an agency that has 7-10 years of experience, they need a different level of insight reporting than a C-suite individual. It's just different, and a lot of times we spend that's ad hoc reporting time, where somebody gets called and says our board needs to see a report. What Sage is going to do is allow us to give our clients a unique login, and your profile will be on there that suggests where you are in your organization. So if you need C-suite level reporting, which is usually very, very zoomed out, high level revenue focused, that's gonna be there. If you are like, I'm actually in the weeds every day, I need to understand very specific performance KPIs, that's gonna be there for you too. Down here in the bottom, you're gonna see some key insights pop up from people on the team. So it might hop in and you might say, okay, Braden on our team called out a couple weeks ago that we were able to, for the first time, to break through our revenue goal in this specific category. So these things are just gonna be there, always learning, always kind of propagating. And you'll be able to kind of see the data streams over here on the right. So I'm about as excited for this part of it, which by the way isn't an AI tool at all, it's literally just a dashboard, but I'm as excited for this part of it for our clients because I think so much of this is just about trying to put data into a narrative and put it into a position where you can understand it. The second thing here is that we, and I say we as an industry, agencies and people who do reporting, have put you as people who potentially hire an agency in a position where we force you to become analysts on the fly on every call when we just hand you sets of data. It's true, we're guilty of it, where we just say, here's a slide with numbers on it. A lot of times we use marketing specific abbreviations or words, and you're like, I don't want to look dumb, so I'm not even gonna ask you what this is, and you're checking your email by the time we're 10 seconds into the slide. What we want to do with Sage is focus on narrative at all time, and again, focus on that kind of dynamic responsiveness in the report. So Sage started in ChatGPT, and so this is something that we tested, we built, we perfected over time inside of ChatGPT. That's why this is a screenshot from ChatGPT. We'll talk about how we trained it, but what we're seeing and what this tells us in next steps, this is very, very central to Sage's central programming. It is designed to tell me, not in numbers, but in words, what's happening in the account. So up there at the very top where you see search converts, M-dash, but Pmax and product data lag. That is such a significant piece of valuable reporting that is missing from most agency reports, is setting the frame, allowing you to ground yourself in what you're actually looking at on a slide. A lot of times for a lot of agencies, this would just say paid search performance or September performance. And then it requires you on the call, again, I don't know, an expert in this type of work, to have to figure out what it is you're looking at. And so what we try to say is, search converts, Pmax and product data lag. And then what this tells us section is where we actually diagnose. It's where we as data analysts do our job of saying, why is this happening? So in this case, you're looking at it, okay, we're getting the traffic onto the site that we need. We have creative fatigue. We know that we need to update our merchant center, all these things. You should not have to think about numbers, in my opinion, all that often. The number most people in your position, those of you in the room, care about is our revenue, ROAS, those kind of things. What we want to do is give you stories to walk away from, and that is what Sage is designed to do. When I started looking through those decks that our team was spending a tremendous amount of their time on, I realized not only are they spending a lot of their time on it, a lot of the stuff is not very good. And that is because we hire data scientists here. We do not hire people who are equipped, capable, or even hired to write really good narrative slides. So at the very least, Sage has been a tremendous help to our team to be able to throw. Let me give you some numbers. Can you give me back a more readable, more digestible sense of the data narrative? And then finally, it frees your best people to be editors, advisors, and storytellers, and not just report writers. This one I cannot stress enough. When you hire an agency, when you hire any type of marketing partner, it is a very important question to yourself, and maybe to ask them in an RFP process or whatever, is your staff going to be writers or are they going to be editors for me? And that's probably one that you haven't thought of, but if you really think about it, you want your strategists to be editors. They should constantly be looking at things from a global perspective and able to review, to analyze, to make changes quickly. That simply cannot happen if they're spending their time writing decks and writing reports. If they are in platform, it cannot happen. You cannot get global strategy unless these things are done. The relationship between our strategy team and this product has produced, in my opinion, some of our best, again, human work. This whole thing is here to allow the people in the room to do their best work because of their ability to get, I think, quicker insight and ability to have some of the narrative stuff done. So what's in Sage's brain? Chris went through sort of the LLM component last time. It's a lot of the same type of stuff. But in this case, we went back inside of our own organization and we started from a fairly unique place. I sat down with every single person in our entire company last year and we went through a series of product relevant words. Words like strategy, like insight, reporting, analysis, a couple of things like that, optimization.
Analytics to insights.
Insights
to action.
I asked them, I said, in your opinion, what does this mean? I am ashamed to tell you, but I'm willing to tell you, I got back pretty much entirely different answers from every single employee. That was another tough conversation. Now, that's not to say most of them were right, but they were right in different ways that I was like, this could absolutely crush some time, because it's very regular, very common in an agency space for me to say, hey, Marta, can you give me some analysis on this? Or I need to get this out to our client in the next hour. Can you write up some insights? That turns out was a real slippery slope because it means something very different to different people. So what we wanted to do with Sage is create a centralized database where these things are locked in. So we actually put down a company-wide definition of all of these terms and then fed it to Sage to take basically the ambiguity off the table. That is extremely critical because the truth is there is no correct answer to those terms. How you define that, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that our definition is the right one. All that matters is that we're all using the same one. So basically we put that in there, and so all you need to do with Sage is feed it any data set. It is wired to understand, if I say I just need insights for the client in an hour, it's wired to understand what logical means by that. That's very critical so that I can pass along to our staff, and we'll be talking the same language.
And similar to how we programmed Harry's brain, we've programmed Sage's brain with those specific items. So Harry knows who Logical Media Group is. we've programmed Sage to know who the brand is that he is working on. So we have a brand dossier that understands their KPIs, it understands their stakeholders, so when it's formulating responses, it's referencing, this may be a response that a CEO cares about versus a CRO or a CMO or a marketing manager or a strategist, right? It takes that into consideration based on who it's working with. And those are sort of the specifics that we put into his brain to make sure that the output is very accurate to the point of contact that we're dealing with on a client side.
Yeah. And yeah, so essentially anytime a strategist or any person in the organization hands over data sets, they're getting back the same consistent thing, which has been extremely valuable to us. So we start talking about what makes Sage impactful. Again, it's that one source tailored for all, actionable insights, not just numbers. One of my most favorite terms that I think most of our staff absolutely hates when I say it out loud is decision velocity. So decision velocity is the amount of impactful decisions you can make inside of your account in a given week, month, whatever. And when I say account, that could be a Google ad account, that could be Meta, that could be you just are running a more traditional, off and on digital campaign. But essentially, someone needs to do what we call pivot points a couple times a month, analyze data, make a move. This is designed, to put quite simply, and I told our team this, I just want to see our strategists making 3 to 4 more optimizations in a given month than they are right now. I will be satisfied just by seeing pivot points happening more frequently. So at this point, we're literally in a numbers game. I want to see this AI tool free up, same way we talked about Tara being able to add bottom line revenue by having other time. I want to see our strategists, I'm going to evaluate you on your ability to show more high-level strategic work. There is a word that comes up in every RFP we fill out, in every sales conversation, and every time I talk with our clients about how our performance is, it's the P word, and it is proactive. Proactive is, everyone is like, I just want a proactive partner. What that means is I want someone to tell me what to do, and also not disagree with me when I tell you why we can't do it. But in this case, proactive has to mean decision velocity, which is that we are constantly holding our clients accountable to what comes next. We see what happens next in your account. And I tell them this, they don't have to agree to it. Maybe they can't, maybe they don't have the internal resources, the time, and capacity to do it. But I was like, I want to see you putting actionable things in front of our clients at all times. And I expect you to do that because we have taken a lot of these things off your plate in terms of decks and whatnot. So when we talk about like the impact on the reporting, this is stuff that if I look at reports all day long, you may not. The reports here to me are so important because it is incredibly actionable. If you can read this, the top, it goes into some detail on the digital ads specifically that are driving sales. This is all fake client data, but essentially this is saying here are the specific types of creative that are converting. So we have these UGC ads, we have a revenue-based bid model as opposed to a click-based, we have some seasonal promotions. The next thing you look at when I talked about not giving you numbers but giving you data, giving you narrative, is efficiency is the next battleground. Growth is real but not sustainable without these metrics right here. So it's telling you specifically, it's just saying it usually comes down to 2, 3, 4 KPIs that are keeping you from hitting whatever goal that you're trying to do. We're gonna go ahead and target them. And then the very next thing is exactly, here's how we're gonna fix it. And this is not uncommon for this type of client, that CRO and landing page optimizations are probably the way to get from one conversion point to the other. That is simple, it's quick, you do not have to look through 45 lines of data, you don't have to become an analyst. We are telling you in very simple language what's working, what's not, and how we're going to fix it. That is, in my opinion, the crux of good reporting. Good reporting is, in our industry, if you work in data, it can be unbelievably complicated. Some of you guys like it to be complicated. We can have Looker Studio reports that go on for years. To me, this is it. To me, great reporting is 6 lines of text that everybody universally understands and walks away from a room saying, I concretely understand what our decision looks like from this point on. So how Sage elevates your talent. Again, your best people should be editors. Now this is agency specific, but it could apply to anything, is that I want our best talent in the room to constantly be in what I call, lovingly, you're the Captain Kirk chair. I tell people this, again, I'm somebody who repeats things too much, but if you're a director level person at Logical, I expect you to be in the Captain Kirk chair. That means you are constantly swiveling, you are constantly making decisions, delegating, pointing people in the direction to go and make the most impactful work happen. That cannot happen if you are a writer and not an editor. You simply have to be in a spot where data is coming to you to react and not one where you are having to create it. Unlocks proactive work. There's that P word again. Different things for different people inside of your organization. That may mean something different, but for us, it means putting ideas in front of our clients and making them say no. That's pretty much it. We're bringing you an idea. It may not work, but you cannot tell us that we did not bring you some sort of concept that we feel like can advance the ball. And then finally, fewer mistakes. Yeah, it turns out a lot of people are bad at spelling who are in the agency world. I don't know if that's because we're good at math or just generally bad at other things. But yeah, cut copy and paste out of that tool has been kind of a godsend on that. And then up here, we look at, and you'll get a copy of this, there's just really quality insight here. These are things that you're able to show either your team, your staff beneath you, or above you at the C-suite level or the board level, that anyone can understand what's going on, why is it happening, and what's being done. So, deck jockeys no longer, AI unlocking better human output. Before we get into our video, is there anybody has a question kind of similar to the Harry ones about how we're doing this, how it might apply to your organization, and so on and so forth? Cool.
Sweet.
Just
Just one more and then hold up.
yeah.
Short video.
Businesses today are drowning in dashboards and reports, but leaders still have to become analysts to get a clear answer. Traditional business intelligence tools promise dynamic reporting, but you're stuck in menus and filters, sifting through static snapshots that miss the bigger picture. Sage changes everything. It's not just dynamic reporting, it's dynamic insight. With conversational AI, you ask questions in plain English and get instant answers, even for complex business problems. Sage connects your data, analyzes context, and guides you deeper, turning every follow-up into actionable discovery. And it all starts with a conversation. No code, no complex queries. Just ask a question in plain English, the same way you'd ask your top analyst. Watch. The user wants to understand performance. Instead of digging through multiple platforms and reports, they simply ask. Sage doesn't just pull data. It synthesizes, analyzes, and visualizes the answer instantly. Now pay close attention. A static tool would stop here. It's giving you an answer, and now it waits for your next command. But Sage understands the context of your question and anticipates your next move. See these suggested questions. Sage is guiding the analysis, revealing the deeper insights hidden in your data. It's turning a simple query into a strategic discovery. Unlike typical tools, Sage's insights evolve with every conversation. Don't settle for passive dashboards. Build your own strategic advisor. Get the intelligence you need when you need it with Sage from Logical Media Group.
Sage got so much better hype music. I was fired up just like watching that. Yeah, that was great. So yeah, I think this is very similar to Harry. What we showed you today is the functionality that I think applies across to a lot of different use cases. This is clearly marketing specific. The idea here is that anytime that you are in need of a couple of things, I would call them business intelligence acceleration. So if whatever you are trying to track, report, follow, whatever basically data impacts decisions that you make for whatever context of your business, this is a tool that can work. And number two, it is just fantastic for taking complex data sets and putting them into a language that either A, needs to be decipherable across multiple levels of an organization, but B, we talked about that internal system of basically a standard definition of terms. So if you have a hard time in an organization of people having ambiguous definitions, terminology for things that you commonly discuss, this is a tool that can do a lot for you. Cool. Your decision framework, again, a lot of times it's not about getting into the tech. It's not about trying to understand what I do. A lot of it's just like, what is the biggest pain in my ass on a given week or month? It is, what am I doing over and over again? What is hurting the most? It might not be you, it might be one of your direct reports, as I see them wasting time here or there. Is there a clear rules-based process? This is one of the biggest things I think in relation to AI is Trying to insert one of these tools into just your regular workflow with no real contextual setup for that can probably be a pretty big disaster. So I think having conversations with us or yourselves internally about how this might impact everything is good, and is there a measurable outcome possible? Cool, and so you can basically take this home with you, fill it out. We're happy to talk with you, phone, email, personal meeting, whichever.
Thanks, Kev. All right, I'll take us out here. Again, hours saved. Harry's repeatable tasks that he solved for, arguably important, but we have really smart people that work here. Really smart people. And it's a waste of their time to spend pulling data, preparing decks, and analyzing, what was performance last week. We use the LLM, we use Sage's brain now, and train it to surface all that data for them so that they can focus on bigger picture items. So we're empowering them. Success with Harry was about our teams trusting him. Success with Sage is about our teams trusting him and using it. Right? So adoption is important. But celebrating small wins. Don't flip your organizations upside down overnight just to AI them. Right? We built Sage on a foundation of Harry that, quite frankly, I'm pretty excited about because it's a pretty cool tool. So in closing, right, again, get the noise out of your way. Don't have anxiety like I did over the past 2 decades with every technological advancement. Right? Success in this new AI world is about celebrating small wins and being dedicated to continuous learning, right? And embracing when it doesn't work and always being curious about what's coming next. That is how you build the foundation for what you guys are going to do next. We've got a survey you can take to help you figure this out for yourself. You can obviously contact us, and I think there's a framework in your QR code. But really appreciate you guys listening to us today for our first keynote. I hope it was a value add. So thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we have an exceptional panel coming up here in probably the next 20, 30
Yeah, I
minutes.
think we'll take 20-minute break. For those of you that don't know, there's a bathroom next to the door that you came in. There's one in the back of the office. Should those both be occupied or you need more privacy, there's 2 in the basement that you can use. And also, Second City Headshots is our sponsor here today, Cameron Southwood, a good friend of ours and a good partner to our agency. He is giving away free headshots, and he made me look like I was like 15 pounds lighter, so go do it. But 15 minutes or 20 minutes and we'll regroup. But thanks, guys.